the North End. This is the North End.
What is happening, people? Welcome to the North End. My name's Aizaz, and I'm going to be doing the good, the bad, and the ugly from Liverpool 6, Leeds United 1, or Leeds United 1, Liverpool 6 from Ellen Road today. Before I jump in, please hit that subscribe button, or smash that subscribe button, as the folks say, and let's get into it. So number one, the good. So there's actually quite a few things that I can say here. Folks who watch my videos on the North End will know that actually Liverpool have only played in ways where I can generally talk about the good or generally talk about the bad and the ugly. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on your perspective, this one falls into this bracket, which I have arbitrarily decided is good. There was a lot of good about Liverpool today. Now, first things first, I do have to give a little bit of a disclaimer that Leeds did not look like a Premier League team today. They look woeful actually at most of the time. So this isn't Liverpool were good and here's like a late end of season charge. Perfect team to play when you are terrible away from home like we've been. This is a perfect game for Liverpool to play. However, they still had to play the game, and during this season, Liverpool have also played football teams away from home who are not playing well and have still managed to mess it up somehow. So first things first, Liverpool were good. Secondly, I did like the few tweaks to the system as well. Loads to say about Cody Gakpo, Mo Salah again, as always. Even Diogo Jota had a bit of a good performance. But I am going to go with Trent Alexander-Arnold because the man takes pelters. I'm really, really not sure where the scope of that comes from because actually, I'm not going to get into that. This is about this game. But today, Trent was majestic in that number 6 position. Now, we all know this little bit of tinkering is probably more of a Pep Guardiolaism than a Jurgen Klopp thing. He's been doing it for years. He's been moving defenders into midfield and midfielders into defense. We all know how Philipp Lahm reinvented himself in that holding midfield at Bayern Munich under Pep. Recently, we've seen what John Stones has been doing. And very much the same way, Trent Alexander-Arnold was just basically a quarterback in that role today. Now, we cannot play that system, or at least I don't think we can play that system against a Premier League team who's going to come at us and punish us. But there are lots of games, particularly at home, where we will dominate possession. And this looks like a really good option for us. It does need somebody like Ibu Konate at the back to actually hold it down. Ibu did give away a goal from a silly mistake, but beyond that, he's also imperious. He covers the right-hand side from right back to right centre-back. It's pretty insane how actually he's able to cover all of that ground. And that just really gives Trent the option to move into that number 6 role, slightly more on the right, and just add another body in there. And then the range of his passing is just incredible. Now, I wouldn't swap Trent for any single right back in the world. Like, it's not even close, to be honest with you. Yes, there are defensive frailties, but at the same time, we talk about other players. Vinicius, he is someone who has terrorized Trent in the past. And look, the other of Trent's contemporaries who aren't as good going forward as Trent also can't do the same thing against Vinicius as well. So at some point, if you grew up watching Luis Figo and other wingers, you just realize that wingers are going to take on fullbacks. Wingers are going to make chances. That's what they are there for. There is no fullback, even the defensive kind, that never got turned inside out, outside in by some of the great wingers of the past. Mark Overmars used to run rings around elite Premier League defending fullbacks. And yeah, they weren't giving any output going forward. So haters going to hate. It's all good, whatever. I was very, very impressed with Trent Alexander-Arnold's performance today. I think he's got legs in that position. I don't really know if he's going to be a full-blown central midfielder. I think it's a bit interesting if he's going to suddenly change position at this age and this stage of his career. But this is a really, really good option. When we need the extra man in midfield, move Trent in, Ibu's got them at the back. So that is what I would highlight as the good. So bad. Do I really have to think of something for Liverpool from a 6-1 dominant win? I'm going to go with a little bit of something that's left field, which is, still prevalent today, which is the mistakes from the schoolboy errors. We just simply weren't making them. Now, I gave Ibu Konate a huge shout out in the good, and for all intents and purposes, his performance was really good. But he's another example today of when Liverpool were at their best and when they were purring, we just weren't making mistakes. And if you're going to challenge the likes of Manchester City for the title, or you're going to go up against Real Madrid in the Champions League, you got to cut them out. You got to cut them out. They're just bad mistakes. Liverpool keep making them. They even made them today against a weak, limp Leeds United. And the problem is, with the mistake we made today that made it 2-1, if you allow a proper team who's playing well back with a mistake like that, they're back in and they'll probably beat you, or they'll probably beat us the way we've been playing this year. So not really impressed with that whole situation. Fabinho, same thing again. He gave away some silly free kicks, took a yellow card when he really didn't need to. I don't really know how we even rectify this from the current players. There's a lot of talk about a whole sea change at Liverpool this summer. I don't really know if that's even possible based on how we spend and who we are as a club. So if some of these players are going to be around next year, please do not be making the same silly mistakes over and over again. So I feel like for once we have to start really nitpicking. Normally the bad and ugly, it's like there's nothing. There's so many things that have been bad and ugly about Liverpool performances this year. But right now I am nitpicking, but it was bad. We made a couple of silly mistakes and one of them led to a goal. And you saw how annoyed Alisson was. And if it's good enough for Alisson, it's good enough for me. And finally, on to ugly, which is how the hell did Liverpool find themselves in this position? It's not about the game. I'm not talking about referees today. I'm not talking about Liverpool being ugly on the pitch. I can't really talk about Leeds United because it's a Liverpool reaction. We've just won the game 6-1. So allow me a couple of minutes to just be like, when you watch Liverpool playing like that today, whether they're playing a bad team or not, whether they're playing a team short of confidence, how did it ever get to this point where there's only a handful of games back and Liverpool are 9 points behind fourth place? It's terribly disappointing. And of course, just a season that Liverpool fans are going to want to forget. I just saw so many good passages of play. We looked so dangerous. And I know we've done that in other games as well. Quite recently, our last Premier League win was against Man United. But good Premier League teams have consistency, and Liverpool's consistency is just ugly. And it's proven today by how good they were, particularly in the second half, particularly holding the ball and like pulling people out of position. We just haven't seen it at all this year. So I'm going to go with Liverpool's inconsistency is what is ugly today, because even when we are showing up and being good, it's actually very ugly that the same team is able to do what they did today. And then, honestly, against Nottingham Forest on Saturday, anything is possible. And that's all, folks. We've got more content. We're going to have a live show at some point this week. Please do check that out. Otherwise, that's all for now. This has been the North End. Peace.
This is the North End. This is the North End.